All right, my lovely subscribers, welcome back. This is question 2 in our CKA Hands on Lab series. This is our real exam questions as of now because I recently took this exam this month and passed. This question, which read as migrate an existing web application from Ingress to Gateway API, we must maintain HTTPS access. A gateway class named Nginx is installed in the cluster. First, create a gateway named Web Gateway with hostname gateway.web.katest.local that maintains the existing TLS and listener configuration from the existing Ingress resource named web.as. Next, create an HTTP route named web route with hostname gateway.web.katest.local that maintains the existing routing rules from the current Ingress resource named web.as. You can test your Gateway API configuration with the following command: curl https://gateway.web.katest.local. Finally, delete the existing Ingress resource named web. This question is all about the Gateway API, which is the next generation replacement for the classic Kubernetes Ingress resource. Let's start with a quick concept refresher before jumping into the lab. Open Kubernetes doc and let's search for Gateway API. In Kubernetes, an Ingress resource defines external HTTP or HTTPS access to your services. The newer Gateway API replaces Ingress with more flexible and expressive resources. GatewayClass defines the controller type, like Nginx or Istio. Gateway defines a data plane instance, basically an actual entry point. HTTPRoute and other route types attach to a gateway and define routing rules. So instead of one big Ingress file, we now have a gateway plus route model that's more modular and standardized. In this lab, I'll use my helper script to generate the environment. You can still use the manual way and all files in my bundle grab from my website and practice with it. With my helper script, this creates an existing ingress called web, along with a deployment and service that represents our web application. We'll migrate that ingress into Gateway API resources. I'm doing this inside KillerCoda, but you can use any Kubernetes cluster, Minikube, K3s, or even EKS. I already showed you how to launch those clusters in my channel. Check the videos. So let's launch the pre-configured environment for question 2. Copy and paste this. And it will create the namespace q2-gateway, the web deployment, the web service, and the ingress named web. Now let's describe the ingress to review its TLS and routing rules with this command: kubectl describe ingress web-n q2-gateway. We can see that this ingress serves the host gateway.web.katest.local and uses a secret called web-tls. Our job is to recreate the same functionality using the Gateway API. That means creating a gateway class, a gateway, and an HTTP route. By default, some labs don't have Gateway API CRDs installed. Let's check quickly if our cluster knows what a gateway is. With this kubectl command, kubectl API resources grep gateway. If you see no output or it says no matches for kind gateway, then you need to install the CRDs manually. In the real exam, the environment usually includes them, but here in KillerCoda, we'll install them ourselves with this apply command. That command downloads and installs all the Gateway API definitions. After it completes, we can verify again with now you should see gateway classes, gateways, and HTTP routes listed. Perfect. Next, let's create the gateway class named Nginx. This defines which controller will manage our gateway objects. In this demo, I'll create a placeholder controller name since we are not running a real gateway controller here with this command. Under spec field, you will see the controller name. That's our base gateway class. In a real cluster using something like Nginx Gateway Controller, that controller name would be specific. But for this exercise, any name works. Now we'll create the gateway itself. This is equivalent to your Ingress controller's load balancer. It listens on port 443 for HTTPS connections and terminates TLS using our existing web TLS secret. Go to Kubernetes and search for gateway. Scroll right down to search for the YAML file. We will use this file and add these fields just as in the question. Remember to respect the indentation. Add hostname gateway.web.k8s.localtls. Mode terminate. Certificate refs dash kind secret name webtls. All this info can be acquired from the Ingress. Run this command. So far, we've defined where traffic enters and how TLS termination happens. Next, we'll define where that traffic should go, and that's handled by an HTTP route. Do the same thing. Search for the HTTP route in the Kubernetes doc. Copy and paste this and edit the necessary fields. HTTP route name, names, parent refs, host name, backend refs with the service name. All this info can be acquired from the Ingress. Run the command. Here we're routing all requests that come to the hostname gateway.web.k8s.local, basically everything under slash, to our backend service named web-svc on port 80. Now that our gateway and HTTP routes are in place, the final step is to remove the old ingress. That's what the question instructs us to do. I forgot to remove this, exam pressure. So don't forget, like I did, run kubectl delete command. We've successfully migrated that ingress into a Gateway API setup. Let's make sure everything is created correctly by executing this kubectl-n q2-gateway get gateway HTTP route. If this were a full cluster with a running gateway controller, your gateway would have an address assigned and traffic would actually route. In KillerCoda, it's enough to see the resources exist. That's all the exam grader checks for. All right, my people, that wraps up question 2. And as you can see, migrating from Ingress to the Gateway API is nothing to fear. Once you understand the relationship between the Gateway class, the gateway, and the HTTP route, you're already ahead of 90% of candidates. In the real CKA exam, this question is not about fancy controllers. It's about showing the examiner that you understand the resource hierarchy and you can rebuild routing cleanly. So congratulations, we just mastered another high-value topic together. Now stick with me, because in question 3, we're diving into horizontal pod autoscaling with behavior. And trust me, this is one place the exam likes to trick people if you don't know the exact flags. Let's move to the next one in the upcoming video.
Let's build the future. One line of code, one dream at a time. From the cloud to the console, the rhythm flows. Innovation.